Hey, good morning. How about now? What's up, Archer? Chris, good morning. Good to see you guys. Happy Monday. We're back at it today. And of course, the markets are just chopping around. But we are open. Let's see what happens. Good morning, Jonathan. Yeah, not much happening on the ES. And, honestly, this whole week, there's probably not a lot that's going to be going down. We don't have much of a catalyst except for potentially Friday, the Jackson Hole Symposium. So if the Fed talks about perhaps not cutting during that conference at Jackson Hole, that could definitely move the market. But other than that, we don't really have much scheduled that is likely to do anything. No econ release today, nothing tomorrow. Wednesday there is the FOMC minutes, but that happened before the hot PPI that we had last week. Flash PMI is not likely to do anything. So yeah, it's going to come down to Friday. Good morning, Squid. Tom, can't remember if I said hi, so hi. Checking out the old NQ. Looking more or less the same here. We find ourselves in a range after the weekend's action. And it does look like we don't really have too much of a trend in play right now. Just letting things develop. Trump-Zelensky meeting today. Thanks, Tom. FOMC, Tom saying FOMC Wednesday. The minutes on Wednesday might be a bigger deal than usual. I would say the only reason I would say that I would potentially disagree with that is because the hot PPI number that came in was after the FOMC. And so those minutes are not going to reflect what any of the Fed chairs think about that number, whether it means that they are reconsidering the rate cut in September. So that'd be the only reason why I'd say that it might the minutes might not matter as much. So we still don't know the Fed's position based on that PPI number. Early signs that inflation might actually be on the move. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope something is sparked on Wednesday. Otherwise, it is likely going to be a pretty dull week with no with not a lot of scheduled econ release. But Trump-Zelensky meeting, that could be interesting. That could do some things. Still waiting for something to develop here on ES. If you didn't know it, I don't think you'd guess that the market is open based on the price action. Pretty slow. Still headed up. This is looking like the market is in a little uptrend right here. It's a slow and choppy one, but an uptrend nonetheless. Good morning, Ron. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I don't know if those two words necessarily belong in the same sentence, but we'll go with it. Very choppy here, but if the EMA holds, I will consider taking a long position. Getting a little bit of movement here, and it does look like the EMA is providing some support. We get that second entry long on NQ. I'll look to take it. We already had one move back, one test of the EMA. We're working on our second move back. So if we get a good signal bar here, I'll be looking to take that long. I'd prefer for the signal bar to have tested the EMA a little bit further down. We're kind of just barely touching it, but I will still take a chance here. This close is nice. Not a whole lot of room to get out, so it'll more than likely be just a quick scalp. But not looking like it's going to finish great. Yep, no dice. See what this next bar does. ES is also in perfect spot for the setup to occur as well, so watching for that bar. Below the EMA, not great. Close below the EMA. No dice, amigos. Good morning, Jonathan. Happy Monday to you. And it looks like we're coming back down to test the low from Friday. See if that can hold or if it breaks out. My bias for the day, though, would be that we are most likely to just be in a range. Given the lack of news and the price action over the last week, I don't think we have a lot of juice to really go anywhere. Again, I hope I am wrong. Getting a little bit of a divergence here. ES did make that second move up. Of course, with no setup for us, just kind of straight up after a couple closes below the EMA. Shoots up with no warning. NQ a little bit weaker, has not really even made it above the moving average just yet. Good morning, Paul and Gene, by the way. Didn't see you guys pop in originally. NQ is still just not even getting above the EMA while the S&P has already made a new high. Interesting little divergence going on. Nasdaq getting a little push up now. Finally. Good morning, Hevas. NQ still struggling over here. If it pops up, it's the ES is going to launch up even higher. So if the ES is able to move this much without the Nasdaq, imagine what it'll do when the Nasdaq is moving with it. Yas, good morning to ya. Good morrow. Good morrow to ya. Top of the morning. Looks like NQ wants to try to get below that moving average again. See if a downtrend can start to develop off of this. What adventures await this fine day? Yes, that's a great question. Hopefully good ones. But I fear that the only adventure that we are going to face is the adventure of the range. All right, getting a little drop down in both indices. This coming after uptrend was played out on the ES, so that's exactly when we would expect a drop there. Nasdaq very, very close to testing that low from Friday, which is also right around where the overnight low is. Good morning to you, Toad. Bienvenidos. That's Spanish for hi. The great and powerful El Nino, which of course is Spanish for the Nino. NQ looking heavy. It really looks like it does want to test that Friday's low. ES getting a little bounce. This market has been giving us flashes of brilliance and then nothing. Which should tell us something about today. Because that's exactly how a range operates. You start to get some movement in a direction, starting to look pretty decent, and then all of a sudden, boom, just stops in its tracks. So let that inform our bias for the day here. Come on, baby. Let's see this downtrend on ES. Very close to playing out with that breaking new low. And then it'll be all about this key level to see if it holds or not. That's the low from Friday. Hey, if we break below and hold below it, we might actually, that's really probably our one shot for a nice trend day. I don't think it's going to happen. I think more than likely we're going to poke through this level to trigger some stops. And then probably just pop back up. Maybe even then just have a slow grinder. ES is right on that level. We're going to be exact. Yeah, it did poke through, but no big flush. I don't think sellers are getting too interested there. Yeah, no breakthrough there on ES. Just bounced right off of that key level. Kind of expected there. NQ hasn't really made, I mean, it did kind of test it. We're like one tick away or so from actually touching the level. I got a feeling that the NQ is going to do a little bit more of a test. So expect perhaps one more little drop on Nasdaq. We're seeing the first signs that buyers are going to defend this level. And if that is at all helpful to you, make sure you like this stream, guys. One little click down there. I don't know how to guide you to exactly where you click, but it should be a thumbs up somewhere down there. Aside from the key level, price action wise, this downtrend on the S&P did play out with a break and a new low, and so we're looking at this bounce up. Wouldn't really expect another move down until this uptrend plays out with a break and a new high. Potential overshoot on this move up on Nasdaq. See if that leads to a correction. When I just realized I have not reloaded my chart yet, I'm going to do that. Oops, not that one. Still waiting for ES to load here. Okay, there we go. Back online, it looks like everything's looking about the same, which is a good sign. That bounce off that key level is looking pretty legitimate so far. This is essentially 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be the fourth day that we have that the market has really refused to get below this area. This is the low on Friday, on Thursday, and Wednesday. The market was pretty much the low for all of those days. Little uptrend continues on S&P as well as the Nasdaq. So I'm going to widen this a little bit. Looks like this overshoot maybe not leading to a correction here. All right, coming back towards the moving average. On this rangy kind of day, I kind of would expect this not to hold and for us to just make a V-shaped reversal. Right. If we can hold the moving average here, I will take a long. Not holding my breath. But if it sets up, you got to take it, right? No, yes. Not holding the 21, as can be expected on a rangy day like today. As a matter of fact, probably draw some sort of range like this. We might get one more shot trying to take out the low from Friday. And if not, we are going to be sent to range purgatory. Hey, there was a second entry long setup there. I'm not taking it in this chop, guys. Not doing it. If it was a stronger bar, I think it'd be worth the chance, but basically like a little doji. NQ meanwhile, slowing down right at the 21 there. Has not even made a first attempt higher until just maybe right now. You'll see none of these highs have been broken. Maybe right here it's about to make the first attempt up. And this is why you don't want to risk a kind of sketchy second entry long in the middle of chop. May still work out, but you're sweating bullets right now. Hope you guys are staying safe in this. Pretty ugly price action so far. All right, so now this uptrend on ES does look played out, and look what happened last time that occurred. On this downtrend, we had a break and a new low. Downtrend was played out, boom, and we bounced. Now we have a move up, break, new high. So we would expect a correction. Whoa. Got a sell order on my chart. Did not want that. Get that out of there. Jeez Louise. Accidentally hitting hotkeys over here. And there we're getting that correction right on time. And as I said, we might get one more shot at breaking Friday's low. But if we don't get there, we don't break it on this pass, it's not likely to happen. All right, NQ finally also played out here. Move up, break new high. So this is when we would expect a correction. ES testing the high of the day. Buyers all of a sudden stepping up here. We may not even get another shot at that low from Friday. Buyers, that may have been enough for them. It's a pretty vertical move here. Happening on NQ too. This is right at the measured move. So if we don't turn down here, if we keep popping up, it's going to be a very bullish sign. Let's see where the measured move is on ES. Yeah, it's right around here. So either this turns down or we are likely to have a wider uptrend. I'm watching this very closely to see if we correct here. If not, that is a definite bullish sign. Cool. So it's correcting right on cue. So that's good. Well, it's good at least for a balance between buyers and sellers. So let's see if we can get that one more test at the low. Pretty swift move down here. We're getting some momentum towards that level. We'll see what happens here, ladies and gentlemen. This could get interesting. It's like we might get a bounce. There may be some sellers trapped on that if anyone started to just mark it in. See if we can get a second entry short at the EMA. Would for sure consider that. And would target Friday's low. If you're in a position once it hits that low, man, you could really see some exit velocity. Big bounce. See if the EMA provides any resistance. If it does, we'll look for the second entry short. Can consider it on both markets here. Yeah, I agree, Tom. It does look like it's not a complete stalemate yet. Like both sides are testing each other out, and we may get a big move. But that can change the more time we spend doing this. Eventually, buyers and sellers will be like, "Yeah, you know what? This is an alright level." Hopefully, that's not the case. I agree. I still think we have the potential to make a move here. But as I said, right now, just watching each current little trend, seeing how it plays out. Right now, would favor a short if we can get some resistance at the EMA. NQ is also right on the moving average. Looking for a second entry short on either symbol. It would just be pretty surprising to me if we didn't get a little bit further below Friday's low. At least get a sweep there and pick up some of those orders, because you know there's some stops sitting there from the last couple of days. Okay, there's NQ's first rejection of the 21. Liking that so far for a short. See if we can perhaps get one more pullback and a bearish bar, and we can take that short and target Friday's low. ES has not had its first move down off the 21 here. So anyway, that's what I'm waiting for, guys. Keep it light and tight today. We are in a range. Don't be swinging for the fences. And most likely this is what this week is going to be looking like. Friday is really the only chance for, I think, some sustained movement based on econ releases. Well, Friday's not even an econ release, but it may give us some news about the rate cut in a month. So anyway, be safe today. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me this morning. See you on the Discord. Let's have a great week out there, guys. Take care. See you next time.